Hello, sweet loves, and welcome to Willow's book Apothecary. I am so excited because today is the first of 11 videos that I am making for Florence Given's book recommendations. In my last video on Women Living Deliciously by Florence Given, I had shared that she has instilled this brightness and this vitality back into my life again. And in doing so, I really wanted to go through these reference points that she provided with us, her reading list, so to say, to see what other nuggets of wisdom that I could unearth as I am going through this incredible growth journey in my life right now. So the first book that I managed to get my hands on at my local library was The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself by Michael Singer. I actually filmed another video for this book. I was going to go chapter by chapter and share my in real time feedback to this book, and it is so dense in the best way that it would have been easily 2 hours. So I took a step back and I decided to refilm this with some of the points that stood out to me the most, the chapters that stood out to me the most, and really the key understanding from this book that you really need to move forward and implement it fully into your life. The reason why I'm here with this book is because it was recommended by Florence Given. So if you're not here because of that, there will be timestamps for you to skip over, but for the context of her recommendation for this book, what she had said is this book is absolutely essential for everybody that is human. She said that she was sitting in a cafe reading this book and someone came up to her and exclaimed, "That book saved my life." And so the reason why she recommends this book is to help anyone with intrusive thoughts and anxiety. And so in these shifting times, and just as a millennial with anxiety, I thought to myself, there is no better place than to address the intrusive nature of my mind. And that's not just me, I know that goes for everybody. And so now that I have finished this book, it's sensational. This is definitely going on my, right here, rotating shelf of books that I must read and reread and continue to invite myself into, to continue to unlock the codes that are within this incredible book. Outside of the context of Florence Given's recommendation of this book, I have heard a few things about it. That it is a great fusion of Western thinking and Eastern thinking. I've also read that it is repetitive when I was reviewing some of the reviews on Fable and Goodreads. It is repetitive. But the reason why it's repetitive is because if you're taking a concept, Michael Singer is going to attack it, so to say, or approach it from many different vantage points. So you not only understand the theme, but you're also understanding how you can change it in all these other areas of your life. So yes, there are repeating messages, but I feel that deeply benefits the contents of this book. As far as the contents of the book, it is broken up into 5 sections, and there's several chapters within each section. Section 1 is Awakening Consciousness. Section 2 is Experiencing Energy. Section 3 is Freeing Yourself. And Section 4 is Going Beyond. And Section 5 is Living Life. So it really starts at the baby steps, so to say, and works up to the themes of enlightenment and nirvana. I have read a lot of self-help, spiritual, psychology books in my life, and this is probably the best in terms of breaking down how to actually fix the problem. This is a book that I would buy 20 copies of, leave in my house, and every time someone comes to my house, I just want to give them this book because it's just so easy to catch on to once you actually see what's going on. So with that said, very high praise. The foundation of The Untethered Soul sits on the concept of the subject-object relationship. So let me tell you a little bit about that. The subject is oneself. It is you. And the objects is everything else external of you, but also what's inside of you. It's a little bit tricky. So he encourages you to look at your thoughts, your emotions, your experiences, the events in your daily life, your identity. All of these are going to be considered objects, just as much as the teacup in my hand, the flowers behind me, the books on my shelves. Those are the objects as well. So in the seat of a subject-object relationship, you really get to take a step back and just cultivate awareness of your thoughts and your emotions as not yourself, but as something that you are experiencing. In other words, you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not the events that are happening to you. You are not your breakup. You are not a husband. You are not a wife. You are just experiencing these things. And so that really sits at the foundation of what this book is all about. The intention of this is to free your mind and to free your soul into detachment, which is going to furthermore lead you into liberation. This subject-object relationship is explained in the first chapter, and it is really just built up from there. It has truly been a blast to observe my life and my inner workings through the lens of this subject-object relationship, and it's something that I intend to carry with me. Now, moving forward, I kind of want to share with you some of the things that stuck out to me personally as I ventured through this book. So in chapter 2, Michael Singer encourages the reader to look at your thoughts as an external being outside of yourself. So in other words, you have this conjoined twin, right? And they are with you at all times. And this twin, all they do is say your thoughts in your mind out loud. Would it drive you crazy? Would you want to run in the other direction? How long would you be able to put up with that? And what was really interesting to me is when I did this exercise, I walked around for a day, imagining that I had these external beings outside of me saying all my thoughts to me. But what surprised me was that there was not just one person attached to me. There were several. There were several willows, so to say, that were speaking my thoughts out to me. And I had realized those different parts of me that really are at front and center in my thought processes. And what I noticed is my most negative stream of thoughts was a very interesting version of me that I have actually never been in this life. She is the kind of woman you would see sitting at the edge of the bar, like chain smoking, drinking whiskey on the rocks, wearing leopard print, having a cigarette hanging out of her mouth, just talking about how life has never been good to her, how one day she'll get her shot. You know what kind of woman I'm talking about. She has never worn sunscreen. She's all frankly. That was the external manifestation that I was visualizing of my negative thought streams. And you can sit there and be like, ugh, I feel really bad for her. She kind of needs some help. And that was really valuable for me because I can fix that, right? I can devote attention and love to that side of me with a little bit more care. And then I also noticed I had a little inner child with me, and then I had a version of me with a silk blouse and really nice trousers, and I was very well kept, and I would say that's my career and leadership position side of me. So that was a really gratifying experience to have, and something I would encourage for the readers to try for a day or two as they see fit. Another theme that came through, and it is a cliche for a reason, is that the heart over the mind always. And he talks about how the heart chakra is what opens you up to the world. So there is a little bit of, actually quite a bit of content about the chakra systems and the heart and the blockages we get in the heart, why we get those blockages in the heart, and how to clear those blockages in the heart. This is something that's coming through in a lot of these spiritual texts, and I'm beginning to see that's for a good reason. So it's all about the heart, living your life through the heart, living your life through the frequency of love and joy. And if you're not there, he tells you how to get there. He tells you how to have the compassion for yourself as you sit through and process those blocks. The inevitability of the pain that comes with it, but the freedom that's on the other side. And then finally, one of my favorite chapters is towards the end, and it's about death and how death brings us so much closer to life, and the value that the role of death plays into our life. Death has really been a big theme for me in the past few years in the context of allowing things to naturally die that need to die, so space can be made for new things in your life. And of course, the theme of death as it relates to our attachments to people on earth and the death of our identities. It really was such a beautiful chapter to read. As I was reading this book, I had a lot of different pieces of art come to mind as I was reading it. For songs, Vienna by Billy Joel came to mind a few times, as well as All Things End by Hosier. As far as books go, there were two books that kept popping into my head as I was reading it, and the first one is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, and this is really embodying you have the choice to be happy at all times and to make the best of life in every situation that there is. And then the other book that kept popping into my head was The Art of Happiness by Dalai Lama. Would I recommend this book to other people? 100%, absolutely. I think everybody needs to read it, and everyone's going to get something different out of it. But it is such a gift to this world. If this is how the first book on Florence Given's reading list is going, I am so excited to see what else is on that list for me to open up and excavate. Have you read this book? And if you have, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, happy reading.